after difficulty, relief after misfortune, and comfort after hardship. O Allah, you are certainly the source of each and every favor that covers us. There is no God save you. I pray forgiveness and repent before you.
اسم قولون زياد؟
Yes, Jaziyat.
توجه زياد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين، السلام عليكم يا شفيع المذنبين ورحمة للعالمين، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا أبا عبد الله لسيد الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيد النساء العالمين، السلام عليكم يا أبا الفضل العباس، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليكم يا إمام علي بن موسى الرضا، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا صاحب العصر والزمان، العمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليكم يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليكم يا إمام الإنس والجان، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
اللهم كل وليك الحجة الحسن سواء عليه ولا عليه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وتقيا ومعينا حتى تذكره وزكاته وتمتيه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Everybody stick around. We're going to start the program soon. And please help them to tell us meet the Ron, how do you want the partition? Hold on, come back in. Everybody go back in.
He's coming here. Him and George. Say, I'm going to start him. He's got the police. Maybe he'll be like
on the left. Men to my left, please. It's on, right? I think it's on now. No, not that whole thing, just the top thing, yeah. Yeah, take it off from the wire. Plugging out from the wall. I have it here. Will it reach all the way there? No, just take the mic. Will the line reach all the way there? No. Yeah, we need that one. It won't reach. Comes to here's here. Hold on. If everyone's quiet, they can hear.
Unplugged the wrong one.
Yeah, he's gonna be late.
Hello, hello. Okay.
Hello, hello, hello.
That one's kind of low, huh?
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay. This one's low.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. They can come closer. If you guys want to start scooting up, scoot up on this side too. If you guys want to scoot up to see the screen.
Make sure to introduce us on this time.
Yeah, introductions. I think we're good. Sorry. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله عليك يا ولي العصر أدركنا. Brothers and sisters, Salamun alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Farhan. This is,
My name is Zahir.
and we flew in from Houston to give you this presentation on Imam al-Zaman and the signs of reappearance. But before we get into that, Allah says in the Holy Quran, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ الْإِبَلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. What does he say? أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ. Do you not see towards al-ibali, the camel? كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. How it has been created. Right? Why are we talking about camels? Right? Pretty stereotypical. But Allah says, look at it because of its sophistication. I'm not going to go through the whole verse, but in English it says it has 3 eyelids, right? And one of the layers is actually translucent, and it moves left to right, not up and down. And the reason it's translucent is so that it can see while it's walking through the desert, but it's there so it covers it from dust and debris, right? So this camel is there as a reminder for us through creation, right? Allah made these signs in the universe for us to look at the bigger picture, right? I mean, this is New Jersey. You guys have all seen snow, right? Snow. Yeah. Have you looked under a microscope how beautiful it is? How geometrical? It's like perfectly symmetrical, right? Again, another sign, right? So why are we talking about all this? We're talking about this because Allah uses this animal and other things in nature as a sign. Allah uses signs, right? What else does He use signs for? Does He use it for example, the prophecies of divine emissaries, right? We hear about prophets coming and their miracles, and Allah says they will come. And then we also have the imams, right? So many miracles, mu'jizat that we hear from our imams. So much talking about signs and so much, information that there is about there. But that brings us to our main focus point, which is, of course, the signs of the reappearance of Imam Mahdi. And we're going to do this through the Thaqalain, which is the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. So none of the words here, hopefully, will be from me or Zahir, right? We're going to straight from the Hadith and straight from the Quran, inshallah.
So let's all get started with a brief understanding of our objectives for today. The first objective that we have is understanding the concepts of signs. And we'll do this by answering these 3 questions. Number 1, what is a sign? Number 2, does the Quran talk about signs? And lastly, are signs solely for our Imam, or is it shown in other books, in other traditions, in other occasions? The next objective that we have for today is the relevance of signs. I know that, at least in the Shia community in Houston, signs are a big deal. It's the biggest buzzword that we can see, right? And personally, from my friend and family group chats, I see that at least once a week or twice a week, I get a message that is a post about the reappearance of Imam al-Zaman. A sign is coming here. Something is happening in the world. California wildfires. Oh, the Imam is coming tomorrow, right? All of these things are happening. So at this point, we want to understand which signs are relevant and which signs are Shia verified. And thirdly, after we discuss and have a good grasp on which signs are important and which signs are relevant, then the main question in our head becomes, why isn't the Imam here yet? Right? Is it because all of the signs of the reappearance hasn't happened? Is it because of people like Brother Farhan and I that are holding the Imam from returning? Is it because there are bigger societal, social, political problems in the world that is restricting the Imam from coming back? And lastly, as we go through and answer all of the questions that I previously mentioned, hopefully we will be able to give you some actionable steps that all of us can take now and in the future so that we can be in the good crowd with Imam al-Zaman and him be happy with us.
Okay, so again, to summarize, we're going to talk about what's a sign, get the definition, which ones are relevant, which ones are important, which ones do we pay attention to, what are the barriers, why isn't the Imam here yet, have the signs appeared, and then actionable steps, because that's what everyone wants to know about, right? So let's dive right in. Okay, what's a sign? Allah says in the Quran, Surah Fussilat, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. As in, we will show them our signs, it's a laser pointer, in the universe and within themselves. حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. Until it becomes clear to them that this is the truth, right? And again, what are the signs in the universe and within ourselves? I mean, I gave you an example, right? The camel that we talked about, or the snowflake, right? What about in yourself? your liver, your organs, your lungs, your heart, all these machines so in harmony, right, with each other and talking to each other and making those transactions for your body to function normally, right? These are signs within ourselves. And Allah has used these signs to point to, of course, the fact that there has to be an all-wise creator. Who is the engineer behind a camel? Who's the designer, right? These are questions that you ask. And your aql, your intellect tells you, no, there has to be an all-wise creator, someone who knows all this, someone who made it with so much sophistication and complications and intricacies, right? So that's what Allah is saying in this verse. So Allah definitely tells us in the Quran that we're going to use signs. And we're going to use them to point to something bigger or point to something else. Okay? How else does Allah use signs? Let's see.
So, just as Brother Farhan has explained one application of signs, we'll dive into the next application. And we'll start with Prophet Musa. Prophet Musa came with 9 miraculous signs. One of them turning his staff into a serpent. The other, as you can see on the screen, the splitting of the Red Sea. And he did this all to prove his hujjah, to prove that he was a prophet that was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next prophet that we'll look at is Prophet Isa. Prophet Isa also came with many divine signs, all starting with his birth, right? Being born from only a mother, and then speaking as a newborn, and healing the blind and the lepers, and raising the dead. Again, all to prove his hujjah, to prove that he is a prophet sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the first application of signs. The next application of signs that we'll look at is how the prophet uses these signs to prophesize the next divine emissary, the next prophet. So since we have Prophet Isa here, I want to ask you guys a question. Did he prophesize the next prophet? And who is that next prophet? Who is the next prophet after Prophet Isa? Prophet? Prophet Muhammad. MashaAllah.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So Prophet Muhammad or Prophet Isa prophesied the coming of Rasulullah. So before we talk about Prophet Muhammad, I want to see, are you guys seeing this pattern that Brother Farhad and I are mentioning? Nobody sees the pattern? Okay. I'll explain it to you quickly, but also very slowly so you guys can understand. Number one, these miracles are signs that point to the divine emissaries being sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, the Prophet then points back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using these signs. And finally, Allah then the Prophet then also uses these signs to tell the next divine emissary or point to the next divine emissary. So now let's talk about Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, everyone knows that Prophet Isa prophesied Prophet Muhammad's coming, right? But before he came, what were those signs? The biggest sign that we had recorded in history was the fire of the Zoroastrians, which was burning for over 1,000 years, and it suddenly stopped, right? Another sign is the light. When his birth was happening, the nur from his birth went all the way to the east and to the west, right? That's the sign that he was coming. And then when he came, what were the signs that he showed? He said, I'm going to split the moon in half, right? Or the biggest miracle and the biggest sign that we have is the Holy Quran, right? These are signs. All the prophets are using signs, again, to show the next emissary, the next divinely appointed, and on top of that, show that they are truly sent from Allah. And then these miracles point to that creator, point to the all-wise creator, right? Okay, so now that we've seen that Allah uses signs in the Holy Quran, right? Surah Fussilat, Sanurihim ayatina, right? We talked about that verse. And we know that Allah uses it for the divine emissaries, which are the prophecies and the miracles of the prophets and the imams, that yes, something is happening, there's a sign. What is it pointing to? It's pointing to something bigger, a bigger picture. Okay, now how does this all tie into Imam al-Zaman? Let's look at this beautiful verse, or beautiful hadith from Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay, so one day Imam Hassan alayhi salam came to his grandfather, the Holy Prophet, and he asked him about the 12th Imam, right? And what did Rasulullah respond with? He responded with this beautiful hadith regarding Surah Araf. He said, قال إنما مثله كمثل الساعة ثقلت في سماوات والأرض لا تأتيكم إلا بغتة. بغتة. What does that mean? It means, indeed, the Imam's example is like that of the hour, the day of judgment, heavy in the heavens and the earth, and it will come to you except suddenly, right? What does that mean, suddenly, right? But here, we're going to talk about suddenly later, but here we're seeing that Rasulullah is telling Imam Hassan that yes, there is another prophecy, there is another sign that one from my progeny will come and he will be the Mahdi, right? So we know Allah is using this over and over again. He's using this concept of signs in the Quran and in the Hadith and through divine emissaries like the prophets, Prophet Musa, Prophet Isa, right? You get it so far? Yes? Okay.
So now at this point, you guys have a little understanding of what the signs are. So now we want to test your guys' knowledge. And at this point, we're going to play a little game. And this game works by, we're going to display a sign on the board. Brother Farhan and I are going to give a small brief explanation on it. And then we want to pose the question to you guys if you think it is a major sign. And everyone in the audience, if you guys think it's a major sign, then we want you to raise your hands. And likewise, we'll do the same thing with minor signs. So let's start. The first sign that we have here is the rise of Yamani. So this is where an individual that supports the Imam will come from the area of Yemen. So, do you guys think that this is a major sign? Raise your hand. Okay.
Okay.
Now, do you think it's a minor sign?
Wow. Okay.
This is a
Major sign. Okay, the next one is the call of Jibreel from the sky. Right? Everyone heard this hadith. Again, all these are in hadith, but major, minor. Raise your hand if you think Jibreel calling out from the sky that the Imam is here is a major sign. Okay, a lot of hands raised. Okay, yeah, a lot of hands raised. Good. Now raise your hand if you think it's a minor sign. Okay, we got a couple. Okay, it is actually a major sign.
The next sign that we have is the Red Death. Right? So this is where mass bloodshed will occur before the coming of Imam az-Zaman. Raise your hand if you think that this is a major sign. Okay, a couple of people.
Okay.
Now, minor sign. This is a minor sign.
Okay, the next one is severe drought. I don't have to explain what that one is. It's severe drought. Like no food, no water, lack of rain, lack of food, and crops don't grow. Raise your hand if you think it's a major sign. Okay, everyone knows it's a major sign because Trump made everything expensive, right? Okay, raise your hand if you think it's a minor sign. Okay, good. So it's actually a minor sign. Excellent.
The next sign is the White Death. So similar to the Red Death, there'll be many people that pass away, but because of plagues, disease, illness. Raise your hand if you think that this is a major sign. Nobody on the brother side thinks that this is a major sign. Okay.
We've got a couple hands on the sister side for major.
Minor sign?
Minor? Okay.
It is a minor sign.
Minor sign. Okay, the next one is the splitting of the earth, Qasful Bayda, right? Which means the earth will literally crack open and eat up the army that's going to go after Imam az-Zaman. So raise your hand if you think this is a major sign. Okay, a lot of hands raised. Raise your hand if you think it's a minor sign. Is it here only? Okay, it's actually a major sign.
The next sign that we have is the advent of the Sufyani. So this is where an individual will uprise and engage in battles for 6 months straight, starting in the month of Rajab. So do you think that this is a major sign? Raise your hand. Okay. Minor sign? I think we got some of you guys. This is a major sign.
Okay, we have two left. The next one is the great fire that will rise from the east. There's a hadith that says there's going to be a great fire. Everyone's going to see the smoke in the sky. Raise your hand if you think it's a major sign. Okay, we got a couple here, a couple over there. Okay. Now raise your hand if you think it's a minor sign. Okay. Let's see the answer.
It's a minor sign. And the last sign that we have for you is the death of Nafs az-Zakiyah. This is where a supporter of Imam az-Zaman will be killed around the area of the Kaaba. So raise your hand if you think that this is a major sign. Okay. Minor sign? This is a major sign. Very good, everyone. So some of you guys did good, some of you guys not so much, but let's look at a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam regarding these signs. He says, Imam Sadiq says, 5 signs will become manifest before the reappearance of Imam az-Zaman. The advent of Yamani and Sufyani, the call from the sky of Jibreel, the sinking of the Ba'ida land, and the killing of the pure soul, Nafs az-Zakiyah.
Okay. So I'm going to connect a hotspot real quick.
We have some technical difficulties, guys, sorry. Do you guys think that the technical difficulties is a major sign or a minor sign?
So now we want to ask you guys a question. If you have your phone, you can pull out your phones and scan this QR code that's on the screen and answer this Slido, which is how much importance does the sign have towards the zuhur? As you can see, we already have some people answering from the other events. So let's scan this code and let's see if we can get some answers on the board. A lot. Okay, good.
Some, but not too much. Okay. Somewhat.
Not too much. Okay.
Well, Farhan, we're split. We have
Yeah.
some that are saying that it's very important. Some are saying it's not so important.
Yeah.
A massive amount.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll give it like another 15 seconds.
Not that much because
Allah can remove all the signs and change the time of his arrival.
Who gave this answer?
Very much, extremely important. Lots. Okay. Okay, I think we're kind of getting similar answers. So that brings us to the second part of the discussion. Right? So we define what a sign is, right? Now, let's see which ones are relevant. Like Brother Zahir said, too many WhatsApp groups about, oh my God, the Imam is coming tomorrow. TikTok is banned. This is it, guys. Right? So which ones are important? Which ones do we pay attention to, right? We already established that Allah uses signs. Yes? He uses it in the Quran. Yes? Surah Fussilat. And he uses it with the divine emissaries, the Holy Prophet, Prophet Musa, Prophet Isa. Right? But there's this issue that happens when you try to relate this concept of signs to the modern era. And what's that issue? The issue is people get into this loop, right? We'll discuss what this loop is. Okay, what happens? The first thing that happens is stage one, right? People have hope in the reappearance by looking for the signs, and everyone wants to talk about the signs. They want the Imam to come soon. That means people are out there on their balcony, they got the telescope. Oh yeah, this is it, guys, this is the sign. I'm looking at it right now. Everyone gets really excited. I mean, we're excited too, right? We want the Imam to come. But everyone is really, really focused on these signs, so they go and start looking for them. Then what happens? Then stage two happens. The sign happens, or something that they think is a sign happens. So they shift focus, right? And they're not focused on what's the main part, which is the marifat, the recognition of the Imam. And we'll talk about that in a second, right? But then this is the second phase. They get a little bit distracted by those things. And then what happens? It's the third phase, where they become hopeless. Like, nothing happened, bro, it's fine, right? The reappearance is not gonna happen. There's no rain, right? Enough people didn't die. Some people say some weird things, right? And then the people become hopeless. And then what happens? A couple months later, telescope comes out again. They're on the balcony. Look at the sign again, right? They're looking for signs again and again. So it's this loop. It's this endless loop of looking for signs and then getting distracted by the signs and then becoming hopeless. Okay, Imam's not here yet. Now what, right? So how do we get out of this loop, right? There is an amazing hadith that explains how to get out of this loop.
So let's look at this hadith regarding the loop that Brother Farhan just mentioned. A little backstory about this hadith. There's a man by the name of Abu Dawood that came to our 8th Imam, Imam Raza, alayhi salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Where he mentioned and said, and asked the question, we were with Abu Ja'far, peace be upon him, and the mention of the Sufyani came up, and what was narrated about his matter being from the inevitable. So I said to Abu Ja'far, peace be upon him, can there be abrogation or change by Allah in what is inevitable? The Imam replied, yes. Okay. Then Abu Dawood posed the question, then we fear that there might be abrogation or change by Allah in the matter of Imam al-Zaman. The Imam replied, Imam Zaman is from the promised, from the mi'ad. So breaking down this hadith by Imam Raza, he is saying that the signs are important, but the Imam is more important. He's placing this emphasis of the Imam over the signs like the Sufyani, like the call of Jibreel, like the advent of the Yamani, all of these that we just spoke about. Additionally, our Imam is saying that Allah is not bounded by these signs. However, whenever it comes to the zuhur, it is from the promised. It will 100% happen. And again, just like Brother Farhan mentioned, the zuhur will happen so suddenly, right? So we all need to be prepared now. So now you guys are probably thinking, after seeing this hadith and reading this hadith, are the signs still relevant? What do you guys think? Yes? Anybody says no? Somewhat, okay. Correct. The signs still are relevant, but they shouldn't be our only focus, right? Just like Brother Farhan said about the camel, 3 eyelids, all of these intricacies, right? But Allah is not wanting us just to look at the camel. He wants us to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. So now let's take a look at an analogy.
Okay. So everyone recognize this somewhat, sort of, on a road trip. You see this, right? Big green billboards. Okay. What's a major highway here? We got like 295. We got Turnpike, 40. Turnpike. Okay, let's go with Turnpike. Imagine this is Turnpike, right? You're going down Turnpike. As you're going down this highway, right, there's road signs. Exit 6, exit 9, exit 2, right? And those signs are there just to tell you which towns are coming, which areas are coming up next, right? But is it your destination? No, it's not your destination. It's just to help you know that you're kind of on the right track, right? And as we pass these signs, we keep in mind our main destination. And we only look at the signs as like, okay, yeah, we're kind of in the right direction. Yeah, this is the right exit. Oh, we're past this town. Okay. So just like that, there are signs regarding Imam Zaman, right? Oh my God, natural disasters. It's the end of times. Oh, corruption is happening over here. But do we take the exit? No, we stay on our track, right? And then we look at the main sign, which is Imam Zaman himself, right? So we don't get distracted by all these signs. The signs aren't there to distract us. They're there to just kind of guide us and nudge us. So Allah has established these signs for us to take heed and recognize that the Imam is always going to be the main focus, right? So some of you have kids, some of you were kids. Well, all of you were kids at one point, right? Every kid's favorite question on a road trip is, are we there yet? Oh my God, right? So what does a dad have to do, or the mom have to do, or passenger have to do? Like, okay, instead of focusing on, your journey and stuff, focus on what you're gonna do when you get there, right? What are we gonna do when we set up camp, or get to the hotel, do this, do that, right? That's the main focus. You're trying to get them distracted from all these things that are happening on the road, and instead you want to focus on the destination, okay? So now, let's say I'm saying don't look at the exits, don't look at this. So now you're thinking, well, if I don't have those signs, then how do you know you're on the right track? How do you know you're on the right track on a road trip? Everyone uses it, right? It's called your GPS, right? Not global positioning system. That's wrong. It's guidance, patience, and submission, right? Guidance. Make sure you're on the right track. You go to majalis, you go to jashans. Do my beliefs align with the beliefs of Amir al-Mu'mineen? Is the Maulana, what he's saying, the same as what I believe in? That's guidance, right? Patience. You have to be steadfast, right? You have to have patience. I mean, we have perfect examples. Look at Karbala, right? Lady Zainab. On the way to Sham, what was her focus? Her focus was the wilayat, the imamat, right? And she was focused on that. And then, lastly, submission, right? Got to be ready. Because when the imam comes, yeah, of course he's going to ask you to do things that are easy, but he's going to ask you to do things that are difficult, right? And again, perfect example in Karbala, we have Mawla Abbas. Whole life trained by Imam Ali, you're going to fight, you're going to fight. Imam Hussain said, yes, you're going to fight. What happened at the end of the day? He came to Karbala. Don't fight, right? Just get the water. Submission, absolute submission to what the Imam is saying, right? So use your GPS. Now, if you don't have the signs and you don't have any green billboards distracting you, then your destination is always going to be in view, right? On our highway, our indicator that we're on the right path is the GPS, right? But on the way to the Imam, the way we know we're on the right path is that GPS, that marifat, that recognition and understanding of what he's doing and what his mission will be. Everyone get this example? Yes? Okay, let's build upon it a little bit. But first, we're going to ask you guys another question from Slido. And if you already scanned it, it should already be in your phone. How do you think current affairs affect the zuhur? As in what's happening right now in the world, all over, Middle East, America, South America. current affairs hasten the zuhur? That's an interesting answer. Okay. It hastens his arrival. Okay, okay. Okay, the imam will come soon because of the current affairs. They can either hasten or push it away. Okay. They don't directly affect the zuhur. They are both a sign and a test for the Muslim. Oh, that's an interesting one. We have a hadith on that. Depends if it is a major or minor affair. Not sure, not sure. Okay. Okay. So I'll give you like 10 more seconds on this.
We need to prepare ourselves. Okay, great answers, everyone. Last one. These are signs that ultimately the only solution is imam, and we have to be ready for the imam. I like that answer a lot. Okay. So, moving on. Just like Brother Farhan, he gave this beautiful analogy about the highway. I'm going to build upon it, right? So let's imagine that we are on a road trip. Brother Farhan and I came from Texas, so let's all take a road trip together from Jersey all the way down to Texas. And on this road trip, we all need to take pit stops, right? In Jersey and in Philadelphia, whenever we cross, we go to Wawa. And then whenever you get to Texas, then we go to Buc-ee's. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that or not before, right? Buc-ee's is big gas station. So similarly, since we're on this road trip to the Imam, let's take a pit stop and look at this beautiful hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam Sadiq mentions, Man mata wa laysa lahu imamun. Whoever dies without having an imam, mata mitatan jahiliya, dies a death of ignorance. Okay, that's pretty deep. Let's see. Imam Sadiq is explaining that this person that is on this road trip, all of us right now, is that we need an imam, right? Our destination will be Imam Zaman. So let's see what Imam Sadiq continues with. He mentions, وَمَنْ مَاتَ وَهُوَ أَعْرِفٌ لِإِمَامِهِ, and whoever dies while recognizing his imam, لَمْ يَضُرُّهُ تَقَدُّمُ هَذَا الْأَمْرِ أَوْ تَأَخُّرُهُ, the advancement or postponement of this affair, meaning the zuhur, will not harm him. So again, when we think of this road trip analogy, the imam is saying that whether we drive 100 miles per hour or if we drive only 10 miles per hour, it will not change our destination. Imam Zaman is still our destination, and it won't harm us, no matter how fast or slow we go. So stay on that road to the imam. Go at your own pace, because as long as you're checking your GPS, your guidance, your patience, and your submission, and you're holding on to this ma'rifat, this recognition that we keep on bringing up, then inshallah you will be okay. Again, I want to emphasize, the imam's recognition, this ma'rifat, is the most important thing to have. And we need to align ourselves with the complete teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. So Imam Sadiq finalized the hadith by saying, وَمَنْ مَاتَ وَهُوَ أَعْرِفٌ لِإِمَامِهِ, and whoever dies while recognizing his imam, كَانَ كَمَنْ هُوَ مَعَ الْقَائِمِ فِي فُسْطَاتِهِ, it is as if he were with the imam in his tent. Subhanallah. What a beautiful hadith. How many of us want to be in the tent of Imam Zaman? I should see everybody raising their hand. Okay, good. So once again, the imam is not saying that the ones who know the signs will be in the tent. He's saying the ones that recognize, have this ma'rifat of the imam, will be in the tent with him. So he concludes, again, ma'rifat is the most important thing to have. The teachings of the Ahlul Bayt and his mission should all be at the forefront of our mind. And if you have all these things, then inshallah you will be unaffected by the ghaibah. Why? Because you're already there, sitting with the imam in his tent. So now, if the signs are still important, and we should focus on the imam, the question is, why isn't the imam here yet? Are there certain barriers, things happening, like I mentioned at the beginning? Let's take a look.
Yeah, so the primary reason the imam hasn't arrived yet, even though everything is happening in the world, right? is because there are certain barriers that may be delaying his arrival. Right? We talked about that loop earlier. Right? Some people are stuck in that loop. Some people aren't using their GPS. Some people took an exit. Right? Some people are confused. Maybe someone hit a pothole, right, and their car is completely crashed, right? But the Quran and the Hadith have highlighted a few qualities of people and causes for the delay, right? And the way it's done that is through something called intidar. We're going to get to that in a second, but before we do, we want to go back to Slido and ask you guys, what societal causes or reasons are there for the delay of the zuhur? What do you guys think are the reasons the Imam is not here yet? What are the societal causes or reasons for the delay of the zuhur? Major and minor sins of the people, okay. Our sins, okay. What else we got? What else we got? There are not enough people to step up and be generals of the Imam. Lack of yaqeen. Oh, okay, good answer here. Lack of ma'rifah of the Imam. The fact that the world has the power to stop oppression but isn't using it. These are some good answers. He's waiting for the rest. He has the right purpose. Society, we're not ready in reality for the Imam. Ignorance. Jahalat. Yeah, as a community, we're not united against oppression. Okay. Okay. Too focused on the temporary world. Wow, these are some good answers. Okay. So we had some really good answers here, right, on the Slido. But again, the definition, the reason for that delay is there's two types of people waiting for the Imam. People who are passively waiting and people who are actively waiting, right? And we understand the barriers to these return is from these two types of people. And in order to define that, we have used the Quran and the Hadith to explain some of the qualities of a passive person and an active person. Okay, let's take a look at a passive person, like me, right? I'm this guy right here. I'm sitting around waiting for my briefcase, waiting for the bus, right? The first quality of a person who's actually doing passive intizar, and again, the definition of a passive person is someone who's still waiting, technically, right? They're still Shia, you still see them at the masjid, they still go to majalis, they're still active somewhat, but they're actually passive because some of these qualities may fall upon them, right? Number one quality, doesn't act per the solutions of the Imam during ghaibah, right? And I think one of the biggest things is that I'm kind of guilty of this, right? And this means that the person who's in the masajid, right, in the parking lots, complaining, oh, this problem with this person, this anjuman did this, and this person did this, right? And there's no solution, right? No prescribed solution from the Imam that I'm implementing. Just complaining. That person is doing passive intizar, passive waiting.
The next quality that we have for someone that is doing passive intizar is that they keep falling into the pits of despair, right? They think too much about the signs of the reappearance of Imam Zaman rather than Imam Zaman himself. Like we mentioned, this loop that Brother Farhan was talking about, right? They see something in the world and then they interpret that as a sign and then they wait for the Imam to come back, but then he doesn't. And they lose hope. They have despair, right? And there's multiple riwayats out there that say during the ghaibat and during the time of zuhur, many individuals will lose hope. And why will they lose hope? Because they see all of these things that are happening in the world. Like I mentioned, the California wildfires, poverty, hunger, inflation. I don't know how much eggs are here in Jersey, but in Texas, a dozen eggs is $10. Ridiculous, right? So they see all of these things and then they eventually lose hope. So this is someone that is doing passive intizar.
Okay, another quality of a person doing passive intizar is someone who forgets the Imam, right? Again, someone like me. 15 Shabaan comes, Imam Zaman, he's there, he's our Imam, right? Oh, we got to write Ariza? Okay, yeah. And the rest of the year, completely forget, right? A perfect applicable example is when I was in college, dang, a long time ago, geez. I was taking Cal 2, right? And I remember Professor James, oh man. And I did so much tawassul, I was like, okay, Mom, please help me. Cal 2, I barely passed, but I passed, right? So I was like, okay, I passed. I did so much tawassul. But then I forgot about the Imam, right? I didn't thank him. I didn't thank Allah. Right? So much dua right before, and you get the promotion, you get the job, you get the exam grade that you want, and then forget. Right? That's someone like me doing passive intizar, not really waiting. Still there, he's still doing dua. But the next day, just completely forgets. Right?
The next quality of an individual that does passive intizar is that they prioritize their own aspirations over the prescribed duties of Imam al-Zaman. Right? So let's take, for example, myself, someone that does passive intizar. I want to be a physician, a doctor, right? I've done my high school, I've done my undergrad, I've taken my MCAT, I'm waiting for the application for the schools to hopefully accept me, right? And it is a great and noble intention. Whenever people ask me why I want to be a physician, they tell me, I respond to them because I want to be in the army of Imam al-Zaman. I want to help the soldiers. I want to heal their wounds. I want to do all of these things for them, right? But the question then becomes, is this really what the Imam needs from me? On one hand, it could be absolutely possible. The Imam says, brothers are here, please go and help these injured soldiers. But then on the other hand, the Imam might say, oh, brothers are here, we don't need your expertise that you've done for 15, 20 years. All we need is for you to give some food to the soldiers, to give some water to the soldiers, maybe to scrub the toilets, right? So now, since I'm doing passive intizar, I need to think to myself, am I going to be able to do that? We have to think about that. No.
Okay, another quality of a person doing passive intidar is a person who becomes lazy in his duties. That's definitely me, right? And this is not just talking about doing wajibat. Of course, everyone reads their namaz and does their rozas and salah and everything. Yeah, of course, right? But what about the extra stuff, right? And a perfect example of this is a person who's clocking in, clocking out, right? Going to work 40 hours a week and then coming home and then nothing else, right? Just chilling at home, right? Where's the extra? What are the hours for the imam, right? Where are those hours? So that person, again, is someone like me who's not doing anything other than focusing on that. And you see this a lot, and I mean, we're kind of guilty of it too, right? In the celebrations that come, Christmas and Halloween, so many decorations and people are putting lights up and doing this and doing that. And then on Eid al-Ghadir, nothing, right? Tera Rajab, Vladat of Imam Ali, no decorations, no gifts, right? Our kids aren't trained to learn and experience that because we're being lazy in our duties, right? And that's actually doing passive intizar.
And the last quality that we want to share with you guys as someone doing passive intizar is that they don't attempt to increase the knowledge of the imam, right? They may be going to Sunday school, they may be going to majalises or jashans or all of these things, and it seems active, but in reality, it's passive. And why is it passive? Because they don't have a strong understanding of the imam and his ma'rifat and the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt, right? All of us want to be part of the 313. That's all our goal, right? To be in the imam's army. So for us to do that, we can't be doing any of these things, right?
Okay, so that kind of begs the question, right? If we're doing all these things, if we have these qualities, then are we really waiting for the imam? Are we really 313 material? Right? It seems like we are. Again, these are Shia people doing passive intizar, people like me. Or am I going to be a person who fails the test, right? Fails the test of occultation, right?
That's a great question, Brother Farhan.
Yes.
That reminds me of a hadith from Imam Raza alayhi salam, where he mentions, by Allah, that which you look forward to the zuhur will not be until you are tested and sifted, and until none of you remains, save the least and the least, fewer and the fewer. Brother Farhan, I just read this hadith. Do you understand what this hadith is saying?
A little bit, a little bit.
How about you guys? Do you guys understand what the hadith is saying? It's a little difficult, no? Yes? No? Okay. So that, I'll explain this with an analogy. How many of you guys have heard of the California gold rush? Yes. Okay.
Yes. Good.
So for those of you that haven't heard of the California gold rush, I'll give you a brief snippet of American history, right? There was a time where big news came in California that gold was to be found. And gold makes people rich, right? So many people across the US, what they did is they flocked to California. They brought their buckets and their pans, and when they finally arrived in California, they filled it with the dirt, the soil, the mud, all of these things, just so they can try and find gold. So they did, they poured some water over it, they shook all these buckets and these pans, and they sifted out all of these impurities, all of the dirt and the rocks that I mentioned. And only some of them were successful. Some of them found these large golden nuggets that changed their life. It made them rich. So similarly, with this hadith that the Imam is saying, all of us will be tested and sifted, right? Until only the best of us remains. And If I am simply doing passive intizar, then will I be part of that golden nugget, part of the best, the 313? No. So we have to do active intizar, and let's take a look at that.
Okay, so before we give you the answer, we want to ask you guys what you think are the qualities of someone who does active intizar, active waiting. Let's see what some of your guys' answers are. Okay, let's ask one of the brothers here. Active intizar.
What do you think active intizar is? Productive when they're waiting. Okay, good. Anybody else? Someone who increases their knowledge of the imam. Anybody on the sister side?
Anyone on this side? Active? Yes. Someone who constantly remembers the imam. Constantly remembers the imam. That's a good answer. Good answer. Okay. Okay. What else? Okay. Okay. We'll go over these. There's not a lot. We're gonna just go over 6 of them, right? So the first person is the person who feels the presence of the imam, right? This person really knows that the imam is there, acts like the imam is there, all right? Everyone, when they were young, their mom said, "Beta, you have to read namaz because Allah is always watching," right? That's the famous line. Well, similarly, the imam is always watching, right? There's hadith that says he receives our deeds at the end of the week and he checks through them, right? So a person who feels the imam, he's like, "Oh, if I do this, the imam's not going to be happy," right? Like Sheikh was saying about the Super Bowl halftime, right? What are we paying attention to? Is the imam going to be happy with this or is he going to be sad with this, right? Another example is the companion of Imam Ali, right? Hazrat Salman. He used to just move around, right? And Imam Ali wouldn't even do anything. He would just start doing things because he knew what Imam Ali was trying to do. Just with his eyes, he understood. He's like, "Oh, he wants this. Okay, let me go do it," right? That he feels that presence of the imam.
The next quality of an individual doing active intizar is that they prioritize their duties toward the imam, right? And how do they do this? They do this by asking this question to themselves every single day. Do I know what the imam wants from me? And am I doing that or going in the right direction to do those acts? Okay. And then they have to understand and learn the duties of the imam from the Holy Quran and the Hadith. So just like we said, Brother Farhan and I are people that do passive intizar. So when we go to the masjid and go to the mosque for all the majalises, what do? Do we go inside and listen to Hadith Qissa? No. We actually keep our shoes on and go play some basketball. Not good. And what we've noticed is that the courts are full, but the masjid itself is empty. Now, I'm sure maybe it's somewhat similar here, or maybe not. Maybe it's different in Jersey, than it is in Texas.
More marifat here.
More marifat here. So this individual that does active intizar not only puts in the time for their sports and their mental health and their physical well-being, their jobs, their after-school activities, and all of their hobbies, but in addition to that, they put in multiple hours and hours for the imam, learning about his ma'rifat and learning about the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt.
Okay, the third quality of a person who does active intizar is a person who can defend themselves from the misconceptions on imamat. That might seem like an easy one, right? But if you look at from the beginning of time, from the beginning of the tradition of imamat, people attacked Imam Ali for so many things, right? And what's happening now, you see the same thing, Speaker's Corner, they're putting out video, "Oh, Imam is the one cannot live that long. It's not possible. He cannot be masoom. He has to make mistakes." How do you defend yourself against those types of questions, right? People don't have that sort of knowledge, they're not equipped with it, right? And sometimes majalis gives you some answers, but doesn't give you everything, right? But a person who's doing active intizar, he knows how to defend himself. He studies the hadith, he reinforces them. He goes to his kids or his students or his inner circle, and he teaches them these things. He learns about them and he teaches them to make sure that he's able to defend himself. Another thing that sometimes everyone's guilty of, not everyone, mostly me and people like me, are guilty of the fact that when it's time to say something, they're the first to speak. Yes, blah, 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 this hadith said this. And there's some times where you're supposed to be quiet. But a person who's actually doing active intizar, he knows when to speak and he knows when to stay quiet, right? That's a good quality of a person doing active intizar.
The next quality that we'll look at is that they're anxious and desperate to meet the imam. So again, Brother Farhan and I came from Texas, and we went on a plane, we took off, we landed, we got in our Uber, we got to our hotel, and then we eventually came here. And throughout this entire process, what did we do? We texted our mom and our family. Hey, we got on the plane. Hey, we landed. Everyone is here safely. We're starting the program. All of these things. Versus whenever we think about our Imam, what do? Just like Brother Farhan mentioned, we only remember the Imam on 15th Shabaan. Or when we write this letter to him, right? This Ariza. Another example that we'll look at is when a mom and their child goes into a store and the child gets lost. What does the mom do? She panics. She goes through all of the aisles and tries to find the child. She even goes to the employees and asks them, hey, can you please announce my son's name on the loudspeaker? Tell him to come to the front, right? This mother is anxious and desperate to meet and find her child. So similarly, this person doing active intizar is anxious and desperate to meet their Imam.
A fifth quality that we have is the person who prays with sincerity, right? Like what the sister said here. Someone who actually prays with sincerity. There's a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam that he says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, that the people of Bani Israel, right, when they were waiting for Prophet Musa to come back, right, from his ghaibah, they all went to the desert, right? Women, children, there's no AC, there's no Wi-Fi. Go out there, and for 40 nights and for 40 days, they prayed. And they had tears, and they were praying so sincerely that Allah actually brought the reappearance of Prophet Musa 170 years early. 170 years. So why is it not possible that if we were all together and actually pray with ultimate sincerity, that can Allah not hasten the reappearance of the Imam? Of course He can. But that means we might be lacking in something, right? We're not doing active intizar.
And the last quality that we'll look at is that this individual doing active intizar increases his ma'rifat, this recognition of the Imam. And what do? They're literally out being active, doing things for the Imam based on his teachings. So some examples that we can give is that they try and take classes so that they can learn more about the Imam and the Ahlul Bayt. They sit with scholars. They read the letters that Imam Zaman left for us, all these tawqis, right? And additionally, like I mentioned, they learn and study the traditions of the Ahlul Bayt, as well as they end up teaching them.
Okay, so now that you've got all these qualities in your mind, right? This is a passive, this is active. How do you become active and go beyond the knowledge of the signs? Oh, this sign, Jibreel is going to say something, and then there's a Yamani this. I know all that, right? But how do you go past? How do you become that active person? Well, let's look at this beautiful hadith from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Who says to his son, Ya bunayya i'rif manazil ash-shi'ati ala qadri riwayatihim wa ma'rifatihim, which means know the levels of the Shia by how many traditions or how many hadiths from the Ahl Bayt that they narrate. فَإِنَّ الْمَعْرِفَةَ هِيَ الدِّرَايَةَ لِلرِّوَايَةِ, right? Recognition is understanding and comprehending the tradition. Then he finishes the hadith by saying, وَبِالدِّرَايَةَ لِلرِّوَايَةِ يَعْلَى الْمُؤْمِنِ إِلَى الْأَقْصَى دَرَجَةَ الْإِيمَانِ. Because if they comprehend, they understand, then they will climb higher and higher in faith, right? We're going to do a little bit of math here, right? So, for example, let's say you are a level 1 Shia. You might know 10 hadiths. Man kuntu mawla, fadha liyun mawla, Husainu minni wa anamal Husain, ana madinatul ilm wali. You know, like 10 or so hadiths, right? You want to be level 2 Shia? Oh man, mashallah, give this guy an amama, right? 50 hadiths, so many, right? And if you want to go even higher, level 3, 100 hadiths, mashallah, you know? Knowing so many traditions of the Ahlul Bayt, right? And verses of the Quran. But it has to be with deep understanding. It can't just be surface level. What did the Imam say about Tawheed? What did the Imam say about Adl and other concepts, right? So if you do all these things, what's going to happen? We have some brothers here, mashallah, level 3 and up, you know, level 4. Some sisters over here. I'm sure you guys are on that level already, right? But what's going to happen? Let's see. Okay, so Rasulullah one day was walking with Imam Ali and he said, Oh Ali, know that the most amazing people in faith and the greatest in certainty, yaqeen, are a group of people in the last times. What's the last times? 2025, yes, exactly. 2025, right now. We're the last time. So why are they the best? Well, Rasulullah says, because they're the ones who did not meet me, as in the Prophet, and the proof, the hujjah, as in the Imam, was veiled from them. And they'll believe in the black over the white. What does that mean? The black over the white.
Any guesses? Brothers? What does the black over the white mean? What's your guess? The bad over the good. Okay. Anybody else?
Anyone on this side? Black over white. What does that mean? No? No answers? Okay.
All right. Let's see what Rasulullah means by the black over the white here. He's saying the ink of the pen on the paper. So the Holy Quran and the traditions and the hadiths of the Ahlul Bayt, aka what we mentioned at the beginning, the Thaqalain, those two weighty things, right? The Holy Prophet is emphasizing that knowing and comprehending the Holy Quran and the hadiths is what brings people to have certainty, this clarity, this yaqeen. So whoever on the brothers or the sister side said that yaqeen and that Slido question, you guys are right. Here's where it comes.
So raise your hand if you've met the Prophet. Nobody should raise their hand. Raise your hand if you met any of the Imams. Right? Nobody's met the Imam. But you believe in what they say. Why? Because you read what they wrote. Right? You read what the scholars have written. You've never met them. Right? Imagine thinking of something like that. You've never met a person, but you believe everything 100% what they say. That's yaqeen. That's certainty. Right? So to summarize, the highest level people with certainty, they've never seen the prophets or the Imams, but they believe just because they read the Holy Quran and the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt, the black over the white. Okay, so to summarize, you study the traditions and you study the sayings, right? You level up. And then you comprehend the hadith. You truly have a deep understanding of what it means, right? If you were to read this black over white hadith, you'd be like, okay, black over white, I don't know what that means. But you have to have that secondary hadith to explain that first hadith. And then you go on and you study deeply. And then, does this happen all on your own, right? You think you come to Sunday school because you want to? No, Allah gives you tawfiq, right? Allah gives you opportunity. Us coming here, Allah gave us that opportunity, right? So remember to pray to Allah to continue to study the hadith. And then, of course, the last and probably the most important step is to pray for the Imam and pray for his reappearance. Now, if you do all those things, then you're doing active intidhar. Yes. Okay, so now I want to ask you guys, what are some practical or actionable steps that we can take as a community to hasten the zuhur? Okay, so we've handed out this little sort of booklet here, and we're going to explain, but let's see the answers first. Okay, we can do dua, okay, Friday prayers, nahi anil munkar, amr al maruf. We can be fair and just, okay, do namaz and duas. Okay, these are some good answers. Do every act considering the imam and how he would feel, okay. Actively study the Quran and hadith to educate yourself and others in order to gain taqwa, piety. Ahsant. Stand against oppression, okay? Attend a program at BQ about the 12th Imam. Yeah, good one. That's a really good one. Yeah.
Okay. So now all of you guys understand a little bit about the signs. You know which ones are relevant, which ones are Shia verified, and you guys also know that we don't want to be in this continuous loop. We want to break that loop. And we all know that we want to do active intizar. So how are we going to do that? Brother Farhan, let's look at some actionable steps.
Okay, so you all have your booklets in front of you, right? And these are just for you to take home to remember those actionable steps. But before you do that, you need to realize your connection with the Imam. Establish that connection, right? Rabita, right? Read du'as, read ziyarat. There's a funny story, right, of a guy in Karbala, right? He was a samosa cart owner, or like a falafel cart owner, right, in Karbala. And every time his samosa cart was really successful, then he would go to the zari of Imam Hussein and he would put like a little samosa inside the zari, right? So it's kind of funny, but he had a connection with the Imam, right? So only Allah knows what that connection was. But we need to have some sort of connection with him. Talk to him, right? He's supposed to be either like a father, like a friend, like a brother. So you need to talk to the Imam. Then find out what your responsibilities are, right? Anyone know how to do that? How to find out what you're supposed to be doing? Okay, well, we made it easy for you. Sayyid Ayatollah Sayyid Taqi Musi Isfahani wrote a really great book called Mikyal al-Makarim in 2 volumes. In the second volume, he put down 80 responsibilities that the Shias are supposed to be doing during Ghaibah, right? Some of which you guys already had the answers to, but he explains it in detail, right? Once you have those responsibilities, make a niyat, make a pledge to the Imam that I'm going to do this for you every day, qurbatan ilallah, right? And what are those actionable steps? We'll go through a few right now.
So the first actual step that we have is to pray for the Imam regularly. So if you guys want to take out your phones and scan this QR code, it will make sure to give you a daily reminder and detailed steps on how to do this. There's some du'as, some ziyarats, and all the references for these.
Yeah. So if you scan this, it'll actually come on your phone every day as a daily reminder, right? So now you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What's the takeaway here? It's supposed to scan this, and inshallah remind you every single day to pray for the Imam. And it's also for the kids. Also, we have it in the booklet, just on the one slide or one page, which is the first step, which is to pray regularly, right? And there's some du'as on there that you can look up and read. Okay, the second responsibility that we shared with you, again, there's 80. We're only giving you like 5. The second responsibility is cooperation with the Shias and the Imam's help. So if you scan this code, it'll create a reminder for you on your phone to have a productive group session with fellow Shias in the community to discuss the Imam and also figure out ways to help your fellow Shias in the community. So if you're really interested in doing something like that, then you can scan this QR code. Okay, and again, we also put it on the booklet as for anyone who's interested to take it home as well.
The next actual step is to make the Imam popular amongst all people. So all of you guys that use social media, this is for you. So you can scan this QR code and it will set a daily reminder to spread the sayings of the Ahlul Bayt, right? To all your friends, to your family, to your social media following, all of them. So scan this QR code and it will give you some hadiths and references with respect to that.
Okay, the fourth one we have is to pray to Allah that He bestows us with the marifat, the recognition of the Imam. He gives us that marifat. If you scan this code, it'll add a daily reminder to your phone to read dua marifat, which is a pretty short dua. It takes like a minute to read the dua. And it will ask Allah to give you that marifat, that opportunity to have more recognition of the Imam. Last one.
And the last actual step is to seek intercession through Imam al-Zaman. So if you scan this QR code, it'll give you a daily reminder to talk to the Imam every day. Don't only talk to the Imam whenever you have things that are important, like Brother Farhan, his calculus test, you know? Let's talk to the Imam whenever we have a good day, whenever we have a bad day, whenever something good happens, right? Or this test, or even if there's not a test. So this will give you a daily reminder to talk to the Imam.
Okay. And then for those of you who are like level 3, 4, 5 and up, right? Level 10s, right? Which is most of you guys in this room, minus me. There are 80 responsibilities, like we said. So if you want to find out what all 80 things you should be doing when the Imam is in Ghaibah, and trust me, some of them are a little surprising. So I recommend you scan this QR code because then you'll have access to all 80, right? And with those 80, I recommend you read through them very carefully, very deeply, have a good understanding, and then go do those 80 things. Then, of course, you'll be doing active intalat, right? And then we have to do a little plug. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. No, I'm just kidding. We do have a YouTube channel that we use for similar programs like this. We have podcasts on there. We share hadiths. And on Instagram, we do stuff for Viladat and Shahadat. So if you guys subscribe to those, you don't have to, unless you do active intalat, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, even if you do passive or active, it doesn't matter. I recommend you at least check them out. And if you don't do that, then share it on your own, right? Share the hadiths, share the words of the Ahlul Bayt. Okay, and as you guys are kind of scanning and reading through and adding these things to your calendar, couple last reminders. When you do these, when you scan these, make sure you understand the essence behind this step, right? Why am I doing this? And how can I make it consistent? Make sure you turn the notifications on. Because when you swipe it away, hey, is that passive or active, you know? So make sure you're consistent. Set that reminder. And make sure that this action helps you gain the marifat, gain the recognition of the Imam. Don't just do it willy-nilly like a check mark, right? Make sure you have more love for the Imam. And make sure that action increases your love for the Imam. Inshallah, we want you guys to come to Texas and teach us, right? No one wants to go to Texas. It's too hot. All right, and then the last step is make sure that when a barrier does come, right? Someone's talking about signs and this and that. Sometimes you just have to ignore those things, right? Because your focus Remember, you're on the highway. Don't take the exit, right? Focus on the imam. So make sure that if any barrier does come, that you're able to still implement this step. Okay. Now, inshallah, if you guys are doing all these things and you've scanned all your codes and you got your stuff in the calendar, then you're going to, of course, remember the imam and you're going to pray for the reappearance. But to honor his hujjat and as a gift to him, as a gift to the imam for this wonderful occasion on his birth, let's recite with our sincere love a loud salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil.
All right, everyone's favorite part of the program, Kahoot.
We have some gifts for you guys.
We have some sweatshirts. Woo! All right. Yeah, let's.
We also have some kids' prizes as well. There's some Lego sets and some notebooks. So be attentive and pay attention. Get your phones out.
Okay, is everyone ready? We have the prizes in the house now, so 39 people? Is that right? There's a lot more than 39, but I guess you guys don't want these awesome sweatshirts. Woo! Okay. All right. First question. Are you guys ready? Will the Eagles win the Super Bowl? Okay. All right, we're gonna start. No Eagles questions. Sorry, guys. All right, Bismillah. Let's go. All right, here we go. First question for 2025 Shabaan. No. Kids can play because you guys are smart. Which book has 80 responsibilities listed for the Shias during Ghaibat? It's the one I said at the very end. Kitab al-Ghaiba, Madinat al-Mu'ajiz, Kamal al-Din, or Mikyal al-Makarim. All right, the correct answer is Mikyal al-Makarim by Ayatollah Sayyid Taqi Musvi Isfahani. All right. MashaAllah, we have Fatima first, Muhammad second, RBM third. Next question. If the Imam was to come to this gathering, BQ, how would we recognize him? His clothing, by the signs, his bodily appearance, or by his character? Oh, okay. So the signs of reappearance, guys, the whole point of the PowerPoint was that we're not supposed to pay attention to the signs, right? Focus on the destination. Okay, so we got to talk to 15 of you after this. Because clearly we didn't explain well enough. All right. Somebody's first, Fatima's second, Asim 76 is third. How many women will be among the 313? How many women? 0 is definitely not going to be it.
Don't pick 0.
Do not put 0. Come on. Asim put 0. Guys, Asim put 0. I want everyone to know. It's okay. He got it right. How many women will be in the 313? Ooh, really close. Between, some of you guys did put 0.
9 people put 0.
No, the blue.
13 people put 0, even worse.
313, 13 put 0. Okay. No, the answer is 50. So, ladies, you have a chance.
Fatima back in first.
Okay. Next is from the maternal side of the family. Imam Zaman is descendant of which individual? Maternal side, as in Bibi Narjis Khatun. Asif ibn Barkiya, Imam Hussein, Imam Hassan, or Janab Shamoon. Okay, we got one answer left. Okay, the correct answer is Janab Shamoon. Right? Maternal side. All right. New leaderboard. Huh? Fatima's killing it, yeah. Multiple select. What are the 3 specific pre-actionable steps during the Shabaan event, as in this event. The 3 that I talked about.
Make sure to pick 3, guys.
Do not learn about the signs of reappearance. Do not do that. Yeah, do not put red. Okay, really good. Good job. Make a pledge, right? Remember we said you got to make the niyat, make the connection. I told you the samosa story, right? And then find out what your responsibilities are. Read the Mikyal al-Makarim, which was the question from the other.
Next question is, which prophets are also living in ghaibat like Imam Mahdi? Prophet Isa and Prophet Musa, Prophet Ilyas and Prophet Idris, Prophet Khizr and Prophet Adam, or Prophet Ilyas and Prophet Khizr? Prophet Ilyas and Prophet Khizr.
Prophet Isa is not on earth. Just to FYI. He's on 7th heaven. Okay? All right. Ooh. Changing the scoreboard. Question 7. And pray more for the reappearance than it is in your salvation. I almost said that. Okay, who has narrated this tradition? Aksar ad-du'a bita'ajil al-faraj. Pray more for the reappearance. Which Imam said that? Huh? You want to talk about it? No, we didn't. Come on, you guys are doing active intizar. You know all of these, right? You know the hadith. We didn't go over this hadith. No. This hadith is from Imam Sadiq. Oh, sorry, Imam Mahdi. Sorry. Everyone said Imam Sadiq, but the answer is Imam Mahdi.
Scoreboard's gonna change.
Okay. Sorry? Yeah. Sorry. I thought you guys would get it right, so I just went with the big column. All right. How many days did Imam Zaman tell Ali ibn Muhammad al-Saymuri that he would die within, which is the 3rd Naib Khas? Yeah. Yeah, Usman bin Muhammad bin Usman, Ali Saymuri, Hussein bin Ruh, Ali Saymuri. Yeah, sorry, 4th Naib Khas. The correct answer is 6. 6 days. When he asked the Imam, how many days until I die? Okay, question number 9. Be patient over calamities and persevere with them in practicing blank. And remain steadfast with the one you follow. Combat? Nope. Tawara, tawalla, or taqiyya? Be patient over calamities and persevere with them in practicing blank. All right, the correct answer is taqiyya. All right, question number 10. Which Naib, representative of the Imam Zaman, was an oil merchant? Oil and gas industry folk, come on. You know this. Which Naib or representative, Naib Khas of Imam Zaman, was an oil merchant? Was it Muhammad bin Usman, Hussein bin Ruh, Usman bin Said, or Ali bin Muhammad?
Just take a guess at this point.
All right, the correct answer is Usman bin Said al-Amri, which was the first Naib. Okay, 3 more questions. Truth has come and falsehood has vanished. Indeed, falsehood is bound to vanish, is in Surah what? Yasin, Al-Kahf, Surah Maryam, or Surah Isra? You're going to pick blue. Well, let's see what the answer is. All right, Surah Isra is correct. Raza got it right. He's cheering. All right, number 12. Complete the hadith. And whoever dies while blank his imam, it is as if he were with the imam in his tent. We talked about this hadith.
What do you guys put? You guys didn't hear what I was saying.
وَمَنْ مَعْتَ مَنْ مَاتَ وَلَمْ يَعْرِفْ. يَعْرِفْ. Recognizing.
Come on, guys.
Recognition. Remember, ma'rifat. What was the hadith? وَمَنْ مَاتَ مَنْ مَاتَ وَلَمْ يَعْرِفْ Imam al-Zamanahi Mata Mitatan Jahiliya, right? It's another hadith. Another version of the same hadith. Okay. We have two more questions, 13 and 14. When did Ghaybat al-Sughra and Kubra begin? When did Ghaybat al-Sughra and Kubra begin? Come on, guys, you're doing active intizar. You know the answers. Yes. What? You guessed? Did you guess right? All right. Good job, Asim. All right, last question. Question number 14. Whose advent is part of the major signs? Yamani, Khurasani, Shami, or Omani? Pakistani is not one of the answers. It's Yamani, the rise of Yamani, who will come from the area of Yemen. All right. We have a podium. Third place, RBM. Second place, Kamil. And first place we have Hiba. All right. Okay, we also want to ask Fatima and who else was fifth? Asim? Okay. All right. Yeah, so if Hiba, Kamil, RBM, Asim, Kamil, and Fatima can come, we'll give you guys your prizes. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to us. And hopefully, again, we can come next year. Sorry? All right. That will conclude our program. Thank you all so much. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.